we are going to go ahead and get started. So let me know if any of these resonate with you in the chat. Just you can type yes. Given that you're here, then I can confidently say that I already know a couple of things about you, but I want to make sure that you absolutely know that you are in the right place. And as I said, if any of these things on the screen resonate with you, just go ahead and type yes into the chat. And so you are here if you're a practitioner, you're a coach, and you're qualified to be able to work with clients or even patients who you want to transform lives, and you want to transform lives for a living. And so you really want to move online to have more time freedom. You are here because you don't want to waste time trying things that just don't end up working. Maybe you've been there, done that. You're throwing spaghetti at the wall. You want to know that whatever you put your time and energy into, you want to know that your program will help people and it's not going to take over your entire life. And so if you have anybody at home that you love to hang out with, I'm sure that that is a consideration for you. You want to have a way to have a thriving career and a life that you love. And of course, you're committed to creating financial success for yourself as well with your online program. And so if any of these things resonate with you, please know that you are absolutely in the right place. So in this course, here is my big promise to you. It's to give you the 4 simple shifts that will help you to turn what you know into a thriving online signature program, your first online program, so that you can go ahead and transform lives for a living all on your own terms. Type yes in the chat with an exclamation mark if that sounds good to you. I mean, after all, that is why you are here, so that you can transform lives for a living and have that time and financial and location freedom that you desire and deserve. And so I thought I would do something really fun and special. I created a social media startup bundle bonus for you. And I want to be very clear in this course, I really have nothing to sell you other than the idea that you can create and fill your online program and transform lives for a living, even if you're just starting out. And that goal right now seems really far away. And so getting you to believe that this is even possible is really my end goal. And the way that I'm going to do that is by sharing exactly how I've done it while raising 2 kids as a single mom, which brings me to this very special bonus gift that I've put together. So type yes in the chat if you're anything like me and you know you need to be on social media and you're just overwhelmed by it all. You don't have time for it. You don't know where to start. You don't know how to use it. All of that good stuff. I remember Instagram was such a foreign concept and I repelled against it for so long. And so what I've done is I've put together the social media startup bundle bonus, which I guess is kind of a tongue twister. I should have thought about that before. And this bonus is actually valued at $150, and you're going to get a link to it at the end of this course. It's a direct download. It's totally free. And I've included things to make doing social media so much easier for you and way less time intensive. You're going to get my going live guide walking you through with screenshots how to actually go live. And you're also going to get written for you captions and written for you video scripts so that you can see how to create magnetic messaging and you're not starting with a blank page. And I also threw in a workshop It's about a 20-minute workshop walking you through how to set up and optimize your Instagram page properly so that your Instagram bio, handle, content actually attracts your ideal clients. And so I am all about you taking action, and I will do everything in my power to reinforce you continuing to make decisions and continuing to motivate you to take action. So make sure that you stay until the end, and you will absolutely get this social media startup bundle bonus, which I can't believe I said without messing up, at the end of when I'm done, at the end. So go ahead and type yes into the chat if you want this, and so that we can make sure that we give you access to it at the end of the course. And so if we're new, if you maybe haven't been following me for a while, and we've never, sort of interacted in any classes or workshops or anything before, you might not know that I operate under the mantra, you can't model what you don't see. And so throughout this course, I'm going to show you case studies of practitioners and coaches who are just like you. They all started from scratch with no clue what their niche was, no email list, no social media, no tech skills, no online program. And I want you to meet Alyssa. I want you to draw your attention to that first box where she says, the days can feel so long and hard, especially when your vision is so big. And all you see is the space between where you are and where you know you can be. Type yes in the chat if that hit you, if you feel that, if you feel like there's this gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Yeah, I can see all of your yeses. I know I felt like that for years. And if I'm being honest, it doesn't end. It doesn't entirely go away, because once you close that gap, a new goal presents itself, and then you hit that goal, and then there's another gap. And so if you feel like this, please know that that's normal. There is a gap between where you are now and where you want to be in, let's say, I don't know, like a year or two from now. And so if that's you, you're not alone. It was certainly Alyssa when we started working together, and it's certainly been me multiple times over. And so I get it. When her and I started working together, I had her create and implement the exact 4 shifts that you are getting in this course. And then she goes on to say, I still remember the moments I used to pray for the place that I'm in today. And yet here I am, even hitting $100,000 doesn't feel big enough right now. And that is because her skill set changed, her perspective changed, and her self-image changed. She worked to close the gap. And when she hit a major milestone, her first $100,000, she realized just how far she could go, which is really exciting. When you realize just how far you can go when you actually close the gap for yourself. And she was so pumped. I remember she was so pumped hitting that goal. And it was definitely a moment for sure. And so maybe you don't know this about me, but I'm a single mom. And I took my practice online when my daughter was 2 and my son was just about 3 months old. So I was like super postpartum. And they're both teens now. And if you can believe it or not, I sometimes have this immense gratitude for my 30-year-old self that didn't have a clue what she was doing, but decided that she was going to transform her life. And so I've been online a long time. I actually did my first live webinar when my son was 4 months old. And so again, super postpartum. I remember being a very sweaty mess, but that is a story for another time. And given that my time as a single mom is obviously super limited, I have 2 kids, I'm a single mom, I had to figure out a way to work smarter, not longer, and certainly not harder. And honestly, I did. I did. And so, whatever your motivation is to go online, whatever your motivation is to have an online program, mine was to be very present as a mother and also have a very, very successful business and not have to choose between the two. I didn't want to have to give up one in order to have the other. And so, my goal is to teach you how to work smarter, not harder. Your suffering is optional. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did it without having to be on social media all the time or without having to spend loads of time in the DMs or doing any of that other stuff that doesn't really lead you to getting clients and delivering your clients results. So comment me, capital M, capital E, if you are ready to work smarter, not harder in the comments. And so I'd love to see it. Who is ready to work smarter, not harder? Comment me. Oh, yes, I can see they're all piling in. That is awesome. And so before we get into this first shift, I thought it would be proper of me to actually do an introduction in case this is our first time meeting and you're like, yep, Lori, okay, but who really are you? What are your credentials? What makes you qualified for this? Why should I, listen to you? And so this is basically why, and I will go ahead and turn my video on for this one because I feel like it is personal in that regard. Oh, hold on. Let me just go and actually make sure that my video is on. Can you see me? Type yes in the chat if you can see me. Okay. Fabulous. Amazing. And so I am the founder of the Wellness Business Hub, and we help practitioners and coaches from all over the world get started and grow online with their signature programs so that they can transform lives for a living. This is what I do. We are the best in the world at helping practitioners and coaches really get started from scratch. And I've been doing this since I was 19 years old. Fun fact about me, I've never had a corporate job. I started as a personal trainer when I was 19 years old. So it's been well over 20 years that I've been in the alternative health and coaching industry. And from being a personal trainer, I transitioned into a nutritionist and I started selling 60-minute sessions for a whopping $97. And I turned my nutrition practice into a multi-six-figure business because I chose to do something different. I chose to move away from only doing one-to-ones. I chose to move away from trading dollars for hours, and I created my very first signature program, and I called it Wow Weight Loss. Why did I call it Wow Weight Loss? Because what do you say to someone who's lost weight? You go, wow, you look so good. I know it's cheesy, but I really liked it. And it went on to be in multiple gym locations. So I had Wow Weight Loss in all of these different locations. I had it licensed to 24 people across Canada. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Wow clients. And then I had children. So this was well before I had my kids. And I wanted to make sure that I was a very present mom, but being a mom did not negate my desire and my ambition to be very successful. And so I had these kids and I had this home life. And then I also had, my ambition. And these are my two kids. These are Alexis and Daniel. And this photo actually was taken by a photographer at my mom's birthday party. And so, side note, one of the highlights of making an abundance of money is being able to do things for your loved ones that, aren't necessarily monetary. My love language is quality time. And so for me, being able to do this for my mom, I threw her a birthday party with my family. There was about 25 people there, and I hired a photographer to come for the entire night and take photos and take videos so that everybody could be present and nobody had to worry about being that family photographer. Because it was really important to capture, these memorable moments as the loved ones age. And so anyway, this is not about me. I'm going to go ahead and shut my video off again. This is not about me because I already know this stuff. I already have a very successful business and I've built it by working smarter, not harder. And so my job is to transfer my wisdom to you, my experience and my knowledge, so that you can avoid a lot of the heartache and a lot of the mistakes. So just take what resonates as we go through this course and leave the rest. And so let's move into shift number 1. Shift number 1, stop trying to help everyone. Stop trying to help everyone. There are 3 specific reasons that I'm going to tell you why trying to help everyone is not really ideal, especially if you want to work harder, you want to work smarter, not harder, and also to get clients faster at a higher price point, which I assume is something that you want. You want to get clients faster at a higher price point. Type yes in the chat if you're like, yes, please. I will take clients faster at a higher price point. Thank you very much. And so reason number 1 that we're going to stop trying to help everyone and niche down is because when you help everyone and you don't niche down, you don't then get to have an area of specialization. You're trying to help anyone and everyone as a health coach, as a social worker, as an OT, as a PT. So when you talk about random things because you're trying to help anyone and everyone, it's like you're grasping at straws. Your messaging is boring, it's generic, it's scattered, and it's diluted. And so maybe you're experiencing that right now. Reason number 2, your messaging just isn't relatable. And I don't know about you, but I want to deeply connect with my audience at all times. I want them to feel like I've walked a mile in their shoes. I want to validate their feelings. Well, I can't do that if I'm talking about one thing one day and then one thing the next, and then my themes and my messaging is all bouncing around, and it's not going to relate to the person that heard my message yesterday because today I'm talking about an entirely new topic. It's not relatable. People want to follow people that they can relate to on a very authentic and real level. So if you're trying to help everyone, sure, maybe one piece of content is relatable one day, but it won't be relatable to that same person the next day because you've entirely switched topics. And therefore, they're just going to stop paying attention to you. And if they stop paying attention to you, guess what? They're not going to enroll in your program. And then reason number 3, it makes creating your online program and filling it month after month after month really difficult. When you are helping anyone and everyone, you're bouncing around from topic to topic. You're not sure what content you're even going to put in your program. If you're trying to help anyone and everyone, then what goes in your program? You can't put all the knowledge in your program. And one of the keys is being repetitive. It's saying the same thing over and over and over again because you don't know who's reading your content. You don't know how many times a person needs to hear it until they're ready to take action. So if you're trying to help anyone and everyone, you can't really create anything of substance. When you don't create anything of substance, but what you do create isn't that good and it won't be that helpful to get clients. And if you know that it's not that great, then you can't really get behind selling it because you feel salesy and you feel pushy. And then that cycle continues. And so people are looking for a professional and will absolutely pay for a solution that clearly solves their painful problem. And they want to work with you once they realize that you have that solution, which is why you need to stop trying to help everyone. Okay? Okay. So tell me in the chat what stands out to you on the screen. I just changed my slide and bam, what stands out to you? Tell me in the chat. Type in the chat. I want to know what stands out. What's the first thing that your eyes gravitate to? Yes, yes. I can see the purple duck. So my job before you do anything else in your business, before you set up a website, before you set up your social media, before you do anything is to transform you from a generic yellow duck that is trying to help everyone and anyone and turn you into this purple duck that has a very clear niche and ideal client. So that everything that you do, and I mean everything that you do, will work on your behalf to attract your dream ideal clients and give you an opportunity to enroll them into your program. You first need to become your own purple duck. And so I want you to think about it this way. Imagine for a second that you have a duck pond and you are the purple duck. You are the leader of the purple ducks and you have this duck pond, and the duck pond is currently empty, and your duck pond is your empty audience, and you need to fill it with your ideal dream clients, the ones that you most want to help. But you are a yellow duck and you're trying to talk to anyone and everyone all the time. And so you're talking about this thing one day. One day, maybe you're talking about, I don't know, let's say allergies. And then the next day you're talking about hormones. And then the next day you're talking about plant-based eating. And then the next day you're talking about mindfulness. And the next day you're talking about recipes. And the next day you're talking about protein. And it's just like random content. You're switching topics entirely. And so when you talk about seasonal allergies, you attract a crow to come and sit in your duck pond. And then the crow comes and sit in the duck pond. And then the next day you switch topics and you talk about something else. And then that attracts the cardinal, and the cardinal comes and sits in the duck pond. And then you talk about something else. And then the pigeon comes and sits. And then the pelican comes and sits. And then all of a sudden, what's supposed to be a duck pond filled with purple ducks who are your dream clients, who have the painful problem that you solve, but because you didn't niche down, you remained a yellow duck trying to talk to anyone and everyone. Now your duck pond is filled with all different kinds of birds, and each bird has their own painful problem. And so what do you think is going to happen when you go to enroll the people sitting in your audience into your program that you've specifically designed for purple ducks to solve the purple duck problem, but you didn't, because you didn't niche down, and now you have an audience of all of these random people, but you created a program to get rid of acne, or you created a program to get rid of chronic pain, or you created a program to help overcome the grief and sadness caused by a traumatic divorce. And so you spent all this time creating your program specifically designed to solve a specific problem, but you only have 2 purple ducks in your duck pond because they're filled with all these random birds. And then you go and you promote your program and no one raises their hand to enroll because all of the birds in the duck pond are kind of looking up at you, and they're like, that's not my problem. I didn't go through a divorce. I don't have IBS. I don't have acne. Why am I even here? What are you even talking about? This doesn't resonate with me at all. I don't have that problem. I'm not a purple duck. I'm a blue jay. I have blue jay problems. And then the blue jay gets up and they fly away and they go sit in the blue jay pond. And that means they're going to unsubscribe from your email list, or they're going to leave your social media platform to go and find the leader of the blue jays. And they're going to go sit in the blue jay pond. and now your pond is empty again. What's worse about this situation is that because you did all this work and you posted content and you created your program and you launched your program, but no one enrolled, it's not because your program sucks, but that's what you think. What did I do wrong? My program must suck. See, I told you this wouldn't work for me. You reinforce those negative beliefs, but that's not the case. The reason that people didn't enroll is because you didn't do shift number one, is because you kept trying to be general and generic and talk to anyone and everyone. And you didn't niche down, create an area of specialization, and build your brand and your program and your messaging for your purple duck. So go ahead and type yes in the chat if that makes sense to you. If that resonates with you, where you're like, yes, now I understand why it's so important. People will only pay attention when you deliver value to them. The minute you start talking about something that is not relevant to them, they will stop paying attention to you. And when they stop paying attention to you, they certainly aren't going to enroll in your program, right? So we really want to make sure that shift number one is complete before we move on and do anything else. I want you to think for a second about how people are going to be searching for you. So the goal is to stop trying to help everyone and anyone. And instead, we're going to pick a niche and an ideal dream client that has a persistent, painful problem so that you can use that as the anchor to build an audience of purple ducks that want to work with you. And so to do that, I want you to think about how people use the internet and social media for just a second. Think about how people are using Instagram as a search engine. They're using Instagram to find recipes. They're using Instagram to find practitioners and coaches who specialize in working with their painful problem, because that's all that they know at this point. They're typing in their specific problem and they're waiting for Google or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or YouTube to show them a result based on the keywords that they typed in. And so I want you to be the result they find when they type in, for example, how to get rid of acne naturally, or when they type in how to support my child with ADHD, or when they type in how to get rid of hot flashes without going on hormone therapy, or how to get my energy back, or signs and symptoms of postpartum depression. I want you to pop up. I want your Instagram to pop up. I want your Facebook to pop up. I want your social media to pop up. You are the answer. You are the solution to their problems. And then I want you to click. I want them to click on your social media profile and know, because your content demonstrates it, that you are the professional that absolutely has the solution to their problem. And guess what? You can't do that if you're not clear on your niche, on your area of specialization, on your ideal client, and the painful problem that you solve. If you are trying to talk to anyone, they're going to click away and they're going to find another practitioner that speaks directly to them, because that's what gives them value. It's not random content. And so now maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm almost there. But Lori, I call these the but Loris. But Lori, if I niche, won't it hurt me? These are some of the most common fears that I hear. And listen, I get it. I had the same fears when I first started, when my coach said, listen, like, you can't sell holistic nutrition. Nobody wants to buy that. What's your niche? He actually said niche. I said, what? What's your niche? Like, who do you want to help? And so I get the hesitation. Type yes in the chat if you have any of these if you have any of these fears too. Like, how do I choose? Won't I lose clients if I niche down? What if my market is too small? What if I pick the wrong niche? What if they can't pay? What if I pick a niche and, the niche is broke and they can't pay? And so the goal is to have an online program that gets your clients results. A diluted version of free content that anyone can easily find on any website. You don't want that, right? You don't want to be like free content. You don't want to be put in the friend zone. You want a program that will attract the right people and repel those that aren't a good fit. You want an audience of social media followers and email subscribers that know, like, and trust you, that you can relate to just as much as they can relate to you. And the only way to do that is to pick a niche and create an ideal client and speak directly to them so that you attract your purple ducks. They come sit in your duck pond. And if any other bird is flying around, they're going to be like, oh no, that's not relevant to me. I'm not going to go sit in that duck pond. I'm going to go somewhere else. And so let's go ahead and get you some clarity now. And I'm actually going to turn my video back on, and I am having a minute of trouble seeing the chat. So I'm going to just escape out of here for just 1 second. And I need to go and actually find the chat box because I can't see it. And I want to be able to give you some feedback. So just give me 1 second. Because I can't see the chat. So hold on. I need to see it. There it is. Okay. Now I'm going to switch this. And I wonder if I go bring this over here. Let me just rearrange for just a second because I wasn't able to see the chat before. So give me just a minute. Let's see if I can see the chat. Yes. Okay. This is better. You see my slides again? Yes. Okay. So I was seeing it and then I hit a button and I lost it. Okay. Woo. That got me nervous there for a second. All right. So here we are. And my video is on. Let me just, yes. Okay. Great. Fabulous. Okay. So these are 3 questions that I ask my clients when we work inside of our programs. And this is the absolute number 1 place that we start. And we need to make sure that these are clear and crisp and concise. And so I want you to tell me in the chat what you do and what is the painful problem that you solve. So we're going to do that first. So you're going to answer question 1 and question 3 first. And then we're going to go into question number 2. And so what I'm really looking for here is something specific so that if your purple duck, your ideal client was at brunch with their best friend, what would they be complaining about? So you're not using your clinical words. You're not using your coach words. You're not using your smart language. You are saying, oh, like, gosh, if I could just get rid of blank, my life would be so much better. What does your purple duck want to get rid of? Because that is their persistent, painful problem. What do they want to get rid of? And so maybe you do health coaching. Maybe you're a somatic movement coach. That's fine. Don't tell me what your profession is. Tell me in the chat what persistent, painful problem you are solving as a health coach, as a life coach, as a social worker, as a trauma coach. Now, I want to clarify when I say persistent, painful problem, because it has to be persistent. And so, for example, bloating, it's not persistent. It doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen all the time. And more than likely, it's not painful to the point that it interferes dramatically with your ideal client's life. But bathroom emergencies are persistent and painful. Not being able to eat because you're concerned that you're going to have a bathroom emergency anytime you eat anything that you didn't cook yourself, that's persistent and painful. And so maybe you are, for example, an art therapist or a life coach. That's what you do. Fine. But tell me the persistent, painful problem that your program is going to be able to solve for your purple duck ideal client. So let me go and look at the chat to see some of the things that you are putting. So I help midlife women get unstuck. So if we look at that as being a persistent, painful problem, again, most people don't walk around going, wow, I'm so stuck. I'm so stuck. I'm so stuck. So take it one step deeper. Why is being stuck a problem? Because that's really what they're experiencing. What are they experiencing in their everyday life? I help overworked, stressed out moms to overcome burnout and gain energy. Yes. So you're going to alleviate, you're going to take away the burnout so that after they work with you, you're going to help them to gain energy. I love that. I am a GLP-1 coach. Their painful problem is losing weight while using a GLP-1 and feeling tired and nauseous and afraid that they have to feel like this forever. Yeah. So you walk them through properly using a GLP so that they can lose weight faster without all of the nasty side effects. Yes, I love that. I love that. That's great. So I empower women to get their life back. So again, they didn't lose their life, assuming they're still alive. So what is the painful problem, the persistent painful problem that is decreasing their marriage, decreasing their social relationships, decreasing their finances, decreasing their ability to excel in their career? What is it? We have to get this specific because that's what people are paying for. They're saying, if only I could get rid of this, right? If only I could get rid of this, because then, and you'll see upcoming, we take the persistent, painful problem as the anchor and we go and we create a curriculum using your professional skills, using your expertise to solve it. So if you like, what are you solving, right? What is the circumstance that you are solving for them? I help empty nesters who are feeling aimless and unfulfilled identify what will help them feel whole again. So again, this is coach language. And I'm being a real stickler for this. Most people don't walk around going, I feel aimless and unfulfilled. I feel aimless and unfulfilled. Maybe they feel that way, but that's not what they're communicating. So, and again, what does it mean to feel whole again? What does that mean? How can you produce that for them? At the end of them working with you, you're saying to them, okay, you're going to feel whole again. And like, what does that mean? And so we want to make sure that we are being very clear and very specific to a complaint that they are actually saying out loud that is deteriorating their primary areas of life, like their marriage, like their finances, like their work life, like their social life, their environment, their mental health, their physical health. And so we can tie it back to that. If you are struggling with this and you can't seem to have an idea, think about something in your area of expertise that pisses you off, that gets you fired up, that you want to eliminate, that you're like, yes, I want to get rid of this. I don't want people to have to suffer with this anymore. What is that for you? That then becomes your area of specialization. It's the thing that you don't want people to have to suffer with anymore. And so maybe for those of you who are struggling with this, think about what they are suffering from. What would they tell their best friend? If their best friend says, "What are you suffering from?" What would they say? They would say, they're not going to say disconnection from myself, because people don't talk like that. They're going to say anxiety. They're going to say sadness. They're going to say grief. They're going to say loneliness. They're going to say isolation. I feel isolated. I feel lonely. They're not going to say I feel disassociated. I feel disconnected, for example. Does that help? Type yes in the chat if that helps, right? Where we're getting really specific on the language. It's like one sentence, right? I help. Who do you help? Who's your purple duck? I help overwhelmed moms. I help overwhelmed moms who are tired and burnt out. Very clear. Very clear. And so I want you to think about it as a holistic picture, right? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And what's the painful problem that you solve? And maybe you're thinking, okay, I can't, I do Reiki, or I see some other examples here. I do Reiki. I do energy work. I do life coaching. That's fine. And I know you can help anyone and everyone. And so what we want to do is we want to think about a specific condition that you can use with Reiki. So we're going to niche down, going from anyone, because Reiki is energy. And we're going to go, okay, I work with women who are overcoming, who are healing from a traumatic divorce. And you're using Reiki to be able to help them heal through a traumatic divorce, right? And so we want to just think about, what is the painful condition that you are helping them solve with your program? Because that's really what it is, to niche down and to be able to say, me, for example, I work with menopausal women who are struggling to lose weight, who want to lose weight without giving up wine, chocolate, or popcorn. Very clear. Yes, my profession was that of a holistic nutritionist, but I didn't work with everybody and anybody. Did other people come into Wow Weight Loss who were not menopausal? Yes, but I didn't speak to them in my content. They just resonated with it and they chose to join, knowing that they're not necessarily my purple duck. They didn't care. And that could happen, but my content, my brand, my messaging, everything was towards my ideal client, who was a menopausal woman who struggled to lose weight. That was her painful problem. She could not lose weight. And so I'm going to shut my video off again, and we are going to proceed. But this is definitely something that we need to sort out. And you'll see why in just a couple of slides, because we need the area of specialization and the persistent painful problem in order to build the curriculum that's going to get your clients results. And so this is Kelsey, and I want to share Kelsey here because naturopathic doctors, which we work with a lot of licensed and regulated practitioners, naturopathic doctors, and they are really known for being able to help anyone and everyone. And that was Kelsey's experience. She got her start in a clinical setting. She was seeing all kinds of patients on a one-to-one basis only. And she knew she could help so many more people. And she had this passion for fertility. She really wanted to become the go-to expert in fertility. And she wanted to give people an alternative to IVF and all of those procedures that went along with it. And so when she came to me, She was wanting to move into this direction and she didn't know if she should. She was like super nervous. And it's mostly because as a naturopathic doctor, us as practitioners and coaches, we're not taught to niche down. We're taught not to create a target market. And so it feels really uncomfortable. And of course, it feels really scary. And so I gave her the exact 4 shifts that I'm giving you so she could move from trading time for money and have a signature program and an online business. And that's what she did. She niched down. She defined her purple duck. She created her online program, the Fertility Confidence Method. And so when she started, she was in a clinical setting. She was seeing one-to-one patients. She was absolutely trading dollars for hours, like all naturopathic doctors do. I don't know, whatever it is, like $150, $200 for an intake session, right? And what you're seeing on my screen is a DM from her. She helps people make life. She helps people who have been struggling to conceive for years. She helps them make babies, which is crazy. And I watch her Instagram stories and she posts quite often, which, you know, baby after baby. Oh, this client of mine is pregnant. This client of mine had a baby. And, you know, these are all people who were trying for years. And I just can't even imagine what would have happened if she just stayed general. And she just was like that sort of general naturopath that you went to, and she could help you with this and she could help you with that. And imagine if she listened to all of those people who were like, don't niche, you're not supposed to niche down. Imagine if she hadn't chosen a different way to help people. She would not have the kind of business nor the impact that she has right now, where she can fly to Disney on an airplane and her program makes $10,000 while she's in the air. She's on vacation and she's generating $60,000 while she's on vacation with her family. Like, this is what's possible for you. It's possible for her. It's possible for me. It's possible for you too. So let's move on to shift number 2. I think I've sort of drilled down the need for you to have a niche and to stop trying to help everybody and have the niche and the ideal client and the painful problem so that you can create your signature program to solve that problem for your purple duck audience. So let's go from selling time to having freedom, which is shift number 2. And I don't know about you, but I want to be getting emails and DMs from my clients 2-3 years later, thanking me for helping them and that they're still doing amazing. And the very best way for that to happen, the very best way for you to have this sort of outcome that you desire and the time freedom that you desire is to do things differently. I was taught to sell individual sessions for a fee. Type yes in the chat if you were taught the same. You were taught to sell individual sessions for a fee. Yeah, I can see all of the yeses. Maybe you were also taught to sell a package. Maybe you do sell a package. Maybe you have like a package of 4 sessions or 6 sessions, but you're only getting paid when that person, you know, sits in front of you. Maybe you're on Zoom, but you're only getting paid when that person attends. And there's no opportunity for you to enroll people into a program while you're, for example, taking your family to Disney World or whatever it is that you like to do. And so for me, I realized very quickly that working one-to-one and selling time in exchange for my services was not my jam. I was like, no, thank you. I didn't want to have to choose between being a mother and being successful. And that working one-to-one, selling time in exchange for services meant that if I wanted to make more money, I had to miss bedtime. And that was not okay for me. I wanted to be able to go on day-long school trips with my kids. I wanted to be able to take a sick day and know that my Stripe account was going to be pulling in cash. I really wanted that. I wanted to figure out a different way to help people without having to sacrifice my own life. And what I didn't know at the time was when I was creating my first signature program, Wow Weight Loss, what I didn't know was that I was going to be pioneering an entirely new practice model that thousands of practitioners and coaches would go on to use. And this is what you're seeing on your screen. It's hard to conceptualize. I understand. It's hard to conceptualize what your signature program will be. So I want to take a few minutes now and go through these elements that make up your signature coaching program. It consists of 5 things. And the best part about it, other than it being your ticket to freedom, the best part is that it's rinse and repeat. And so once I created Wow Weight Loss, I used that program for 7 years straight. I didn't create anything new. Why would I? The program worked. And so it's rinse and repeat. Type me in the chat if one of your fears is that you're not going to be able to get client results. I want to see. Type me in the chat who is scared that you are going to put in all of this time and your program is going to suck. And you're like, yep, I'm super nervous. I think my program might not be good. I'm scared to complete it. I'm scared to put it out there. The best part about having an online signature program is that you can put it out as a beta test. You can acknowledge the fact that this is a beta test, that it's in beta. And you can say, I'm looking for beta testers. And you don't have to pretend that it's perfect. You can let them know that, this is the first iteration. This is a new way you're going to be working with clients. The tech is new for you. And you're putting it out as a beta test. And that way you can get feedback from your clients, whether they're paying you or not, in real time. And you can do the work in real time to update different modules and change the onboarding and make these tweaks so that you're getting feedback in real time and you're changing it in real time so that it does become this program that you feel so proud of that you can't but help scream about it from the rooftops, knowing that this is the program that is going to transform lives. And so when you're creating your online signature program, it's going to consist of these 5 essential elements. The first is new client onboarding. This is so important because you want to make sure that your new clients feel safe, that they know exactly what to do. And so when you complete the transaction and the client is enrolled, you don't want to ghost them. So you want to have a new onboarding sequence set up. It's a sequence of automated emails that get sent out immediately upon finishing the transaction. And you're welcoming them into your program. You're including things like a client contract, if that's what you want to include, if you sell physical products. We work with a lot of practitioners that do like the Dutch test or the GI map test or the live blood cell analysis testing or whatever it is that you do. And you're including that in your onboarding. And the onboarding, think about it like a tour. You're giving them the lay of the land, so to speak. You'll also include a link to your content hub with their personal login and password so that they get access to your membership site, which is where your curriculum is. This is where your program content is being held. And so the best part is that they can log in whenever they want. They don't need to wait for you. They don't need to wait until next Tuesday at 7 p.m. to get started. They're excited. They're motivated. They're in action, and we don't want to slow them down. And so we want to make sure that they're getting access to your on-demand curriculum, your on-demand program, whatever it is, 12 weeks, 14 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is. They're getting access to it immediately upon the transaction being complete. And they're getting login access. And so here's the thing that might shock you. when you have a signature program in a content hub that your clients can get access to on demand, you're able to actually offer different types of coaching to go along with it. And so I have clients who offer one-to-one sessions with their signature program. They don't do any group coaching. Some only do group coaching, and some fuse together and offer a hybrid, which is some one-to-one sessions with group coaching. Or you're like, I actually don't want to coach at all. No problem. You can remove the coaching part entirely and just offer it as a do-it-yourself version of the program. And so tell me in the chat, what do you think you would like to offer as far as coaching goes? Do you want to start with one-to-one sessions? Do you want to do weekly group coaching? Do you want to do a hybrid version? Do you want to just sell it as a course and have people go through it on their own? No coaching at all. Okay, so I see a lot of people who were like, I'm down for hybrid. Cool. Okay. The hybrid, I think, is the winner. That's super fun. Cool. That's amazing. And so that's the third part of what makes up your signature program, is that you can include or not coaching with your signature program. And next, you can offer a private and confidential community. So there are obviously a number of platforms that offer this. We use a closed Facebook group, but I know some people don't love Facebook, and that's totally fine. But you want to make sure that you are putting all of your clients into some type of closed confidential community so they feel less isolated. And so that they feel like they're being held accountable, not only peer-to-peer accountability, but also, and this is so important, for the very first time, they are going to be in community with people who get it, because birds of a feather flock together. They're going to be in community with fellow purple ducks. It is so valuable and it is so fun for them. And so it's a really important part that makes up your signature program. And then there is the accountability element. And so this is where you leverage technology and you automate your accountability. I want you to think of check-in emails or check-in text messages. Some of my clients have automation that sends their client a text message if they don't log in for more than 7 days, reminding them, hey, reminding you to log in. So in the absence of an action, you can set up an automation. And so there's really cool things you can do in order to support your clients with accountability. So it just depends on the level of accountability that you want to provide. And so these are the 5 elements that make up your signature program. And the signature program gives you the ability to offer the supports that research is telling us how we actually get people to change. Because that's what we need them to do, right? We need them to change. The research tells us that people need coaching, support, accountability, and community. And you cannot provide that when all you sell is a 30 or a 45-minute or a 60-minute session. You just can't. And that feels crappy because you're leaving the clients high and dry. So having an online signature program where you're onboarding them automatically, your pre-recorded modules and your action tasks are put into your content hub that your new clients can access on demand. You're offering different types of coaching. You're offering a private and confidential community. You're offering accountability. These are the things that the research is telling us that people need to have lasting transformation. It becomes your ticket to freedom, not only because it allows you to charge an above average fee, but also it gives you the ability to truly journey through transformation with your clients. And I'm so obsessed with this. I'm so passionate about this. And believe me, if I could walk into each one of your homes and design your online signature program, believe me, I would, because I believe that this is our contribution to transforming the dismal health and mental situation that we are currently facing. This was the game changer in my own life, and it's the game changer in my clients' lives. And I know that it will be the thing that turns everything around for you too. And I get that it might be a little challenging to wrap your head around what this will look like for you. How many modules? How long are the modules? How do you automate accountability? You don't have to have the exact clarity, but just know that if you want to transform clients' lives, and you have even a vague idea of what it is that you would like to do, you absolutely can have a signature program. And so I want you to meet Paula. She's a coach who created her online program so that women would know their worth just as they are. And the problem she solves for people is that they had self-hatred, they had low self-worth, and they didn't have really good, positive body issues. And she wanted to transform that for her clients. And so she created her online program called the Beyond Beauty Method, which I love that name. It's so good. And with her program, she's able to work with women all over the world. And they get the coaching, they get the community, they get the accountability they need. And she does it in a way that doesn't burn her out. She's not working harder. She's not constantly creating. She's working smarter. And so having an online program allows you to go from being this transactional service-based provider. Yes, I'll give you 60 minutes. You give me $150. Then I'm not going to talk to you again until your follow-up, which I can't actually get you in for because you're already super overwhelmed. It gets you to go from that to having this fulfilling, transformative, supportive online community that is very rinse and repeat. Type yes in capital letters if that's what you want. If you want to feel super proud of the program that you create. And she says, looking at my built out program with a tear in my eye, because it's like you are pouring your heart and your experiences and everything you've been through into this thing that you are then going to enroll clients into. And so maybe you're thinking, cool, okay, Lori, I get it. Purple duck, yep. Niche, yep. Got it. Signature program, ticket to freedom, yes. I get it. But how do I get clients? Seriously, how do I get clients? Nobody knows that I exist. I don't have any of this set up. I don't have an email list. I don't even know my niche. I don't have a social media following. How do I get clients? Type yes in the chat if that is what is weighing on your mind right now. You're like, yeah, I'm totally into this, but how am I going to turn it into a reality? And so let's move into the third must make shift, which is, please, for the love, you are going to stop throwing spaghetti at the wall and you are just going to implement the ongoing enrollment method. This is how I was, as a single mom, able to fill my program, filling it without having to spend all day on social media, without having to go to, in my humble opinion, those awful sort of like networking things and attend all of these different like things where I had to participate, without having to have a massive audience, without having to be internet famous. As I've already said, I'm a single mom. What you might not know is I'm also like an introvert hermit. I am literally an introvert hermit. I have no desire to network. None, zero, zilch, nada. I have no desire to be internet famous. I want most of everything I do to be automated. All I want to do is attract my purple duck. I want to be able to connect deeply with them. I want to be able to transfer my wisdom, and I want to help transform their lives with the programs that I create. That's all. And I don't know if that's up your alley, but that is absolutely what I wanted. And I needed to do it in a way where I could grow my audience and add value before extending an invitation into transformation, before getting them into some type of sales or enrollment conversation. Me personally, I like to come with a giving hand. I like to provide value before the ask. So if that resonates with you, you are going to love the ongoing enrollment method. This is the system that I've used to enroll thousands of clients, not hundreds, thousands, all while having time freedom. It's the system that I install into all of my clients' businesses. And so, no matter what your starting point is, what your experience is, what your niche is, you can install this. I want you to hear me on this. You need a controlled and predictable method that works on repeat to fill your program. And this is it. It's 5 simple steps, and it's going to allow you to work smarter, not harder. It's going to work on your behalf when, for example, you're taking a day off, when you are coaching your clients, when you're on vacation, when you're at the grocery store, when you're getting your mani-pedi, whatever it is. This is going to be working for you on your behalf. So I'm going to give you a high level, and then we're going to dive into each stage of the method. So we have leveraged leads. That then takes you into capture the contact. From there, we go into KLT plus E, marketing content. Then we move the stranger into educate and empower with a launch. And then we invite into transformation. And you're probably like, I don't even know what any of this means. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you. So step number 1 is leveraged leads. You need an automatic 24/7 way to grow your audience, period, full stop. If you're not going to do it on social media, then you need to have a backup plan. But we like social media because we can control paid ads. You need to have a way to grow your audience so that you have a duck pond full of purple ducks. No leads, no clients. And so what you're looking at here is a meta ad. So I want you to tell me in the chat what she does. Just from reading this, what she does. Tell me in the chat. If you were scrolling on social media, yep. Skincare, acne. Yeah, absolutely. And so I teach all of my clients to run ads so that you can grow your email list and your social media platforms 24/7 without having to do much. And the reason that we use ads is because when you're first starting out, the way that social media is these days, the algorithm, it's very slow. It's near impossible for you to get any reach at all when you're first starting. It's very slow going. And when anything is very slow going, what happens? You lose steam, you lose momentum. It's very disheartening. And then those old beliefs come back. See, I knew this wouldn't work. And see, I knew that anybody wouldn't like my content. And it just reinforces that negative mindset. You start to second guess yourself. And I don't want that for you. And so the best part about running ads is that you control it. And so once it's running, it's working on your behalf to grow your email list and grow your Facebook group if you want one. So even if you don't have an email list right now, even if nobody knows that you exist, it is okay. 90% of the professionals that we work with do not have any social media presence. They do not have any tech set up, and they certainly do not have an email list. And within a week of setting up their ads, they have dozens or even hundreds of people raising their hand to access their free content. So this is what happens when you put up an ad, and the ad is targeted to your purple duck. So this is step 1. You need a way to get leads, leverage leads. You need to grow an audience on autopilot. And so what's the next step? And so your purple duck, they see the ad. They're scrolling through social media. They're sitting in the car. They're making dinner. They're scrolling social media. They see the ad. The copy on the ad resonates with them because, of course, it does. You are speaking specifically to their problem. So they click on the ad because they want the thing that you are advertising. They want that PDF. They want that guide. They want what's called the lead magnet. And so the lead magnet literally magnetizes them to you. They click on your ad and it takes them to step number 2, which is capture the contact. And the way that you grow your email list is by capturing the contact by offering a free piece of content. That's what I said is called a lead magnet. We position it as a guide. And so you're using a free guide as this filtering tool. If somebody hits this page and they have endometriosis, or they have seasonal allergies, or they have a child with ADHD, are they going to subscribe to get the 9 things that help to clear up acne from the inside out? No, they're not her purple duck. They're a blue jay or they're a crow. And so we're able to use the content and the guide as a filtering tool. And so this is clearly what she does, acne, discover the 9 things that help clear up acne from the inside out. And so as her purple duck is scrolling on Facebook, is scrolling on Instagram, they see the ad in the news feed, they see it in their stories, and they click on it. They don't want to have acne anymore. They want a solution. It's painful for them. And so, yeah, they subscribe because they want that free guide. And now it might be 3 a.m. She just got a new email subscriber. She didn't have to go to a networking event. She didn't have to post even on social media. She does, but she didn't have to for this. She didn't have to do anything except set up an ad. The ad does the work for you. And so capturing the contact means that you're growing your email list. And then on the back end of that lead magnet, which is that free PDF, that free guide, that free piece of content that positions you as the expert from the start, she's now going to invite people into her Facebook group, or she's going to invite them to follow her on Instagram. So not only did she just get a new email subscriber, which is for new email subscribers, she's now also getting them to take a next step. She's giving them a call to action and she's taking them to that next step. All because she did step number 1, which was set up a Facebook ad. And so this is Sarah, and she says, after the first week of running my lead magnet ads, I've had 120 leads and 63 members in my group. There were just 2 last Sunday, and one was me, because the majority of people that we work with start with 0 Facebook group, 0 email list. Would you not love it? Type yes in the chat. Would you not love it if you could add 120 new email subscribers in a week by setting up 1 ad and then walking away? She didn't post anything on social media. She just set up her ad. And now she has 120 new email subscribers who are her purple duck. And so it really does work. Let's move to step number 3. So you have your purple ducks on your email list. They're in your Facebook group. They've downloaded your free content. They're using it. They love it. What do you do next? What do you do? What do you say to these people who are on your email list? Type me in the chat if you've ever ghosted people on your email list. Maybe you have an email list. Maybe you started an email list long ago and you started growing it. And then you were like, oh gosh, I don't know what to say. Abort, abort, abort. I don't know what to say. Right? Yeah. Me, I could see that. Me, and you're like, I don't know. I don't know. And also this is a lot of work. Like I'm busy. I don't have time for this. And so step 3 comes immediately after you get a new subscriber. It's automated. And so this is where your new email subscriber is going to get to know, like, and trust you. So KLT, know, like, trust, and engage. So this is an automated sequence of typically 3 emails that your new subscribers get every other day after they subscribe via your lead magnet. It happens automatically. And these emails aren't just random emails. These emails are specifically positioned to share your story, to get them to know you, to get them to trust you. And you're also asking open-ended questions to get them to reply so that you can start engaging with them and conversing with them right away. So they're replying back, you're engaging with them in email, and you can also mimic those emails in your social media content. And so these emails get sent automatically so that you don't ghost your new subscribers. And instead, you are building this relationship with them from the very start. You can be yourself. You get to earn trust. It gives you the opportunity to really chat with these people who are clearly in pain. And so this very critical step, the KLT plus E nurture sequence, think about it as carrying that new email subscriber. They don't know you. You're still a stranger. It carries them to the next step in your journey with you, which is to educate and empower with a launch. And so this step is critical because right now you're at the point where you're about to launch that program. Right? You're about to launch your signature program. This is the step that most practitioners and coaches get oh so wrong because they feel salesy and they don't have a strategic way to launch. And instead, they just randomly show up and try to push their program on people, and they give away a lot of free education that rarely results in clients. Type yes in the chat if you've done that before. If you've launched something by self-promotion alone. Buy my thing, buy my course, my thing's on sale, and there is no strategic launch involved. Right? Maybe you feel, and then you abort the whole thing because after sending 1 or 2 emails, nobody buys. So you're like, well, this doesn't work. Nobody wants my program. Maybe the price is too high. Maybe the price is too low. Maybe my program sucks. And so you're like, abort. You abort the whole thing because you didn't really have a strategic way to launch. You know, maybe you launch your signature program with a webinar. Maybe you launch with just emails. Maybe you launch it through a podcast series. The educate and empower stage is this launch stage that does a couple of things. It generates attention and interest at the outset. You're getting people hyped up. They know something is coming. You're getting them excited. Maybe you're even dropping some hints like, hey, something really exciting is happening. I'm going to be dropping something for you in a couple of days. And then you go into actually talking about your signature program. You're talking to them about the phases of your program. You're talking to them about who it's for and why it helps and how it's different and how you're going to get them results. You're actively doing that, but you've earned the right to because you've delivered so much content with your nurture sequence and in the launch strategy itself. And so this is where you are educating them. This is where you are shifting their mindset. And this is where you are activating them on an emotional level. You are empowering them to take that next step with you. The launch is where you raise their level of readiness to a place where they feel motivated to take that next step. And it's really exciting because this is where you get to do what you've worked so hard to do. You shift their mindset, you shift their beliefs, you educate and empower them to want to transform their own life. You are opening the door to the solution that you provide, and the launch takes them to that final step, which is to invite them into transformation. And all this means is that during your launch, you're going to ask them to take the next step. And when they do, you are moving them into the enrollment stage. You're asking them to raise their hand and demonstrate their readiness. If this is a solution for you, if you are struggling with this problem, here is what I want you to do. I want you to click this link and I want you to book a call. I want you to click this link and I want you to buy. Come have an enrollment call with me. And then they will, because they are your purple ducks and they have been sitting in your duck pond waiting for you to extend the invitation to help them. They will, because all along they've been raising their hand and telling you they want help. They clicked on your ad. They subscribed to your email list. If you had a Facebook group, they joined your Facebook group. They downloaded the guide. They opened the guide. They did the work from the guide. They read your nurture sequence. They replied to your email. They're participating in your launch. So why would all of a sudden they stop? They're not going to. You've carried them. This entire ongoing enrollment framework literally takes them from being a complete stranger to having them know, trust, and like you, to them seeing you be the expert that can solve their problem. And so, of course, they're going to want to book an enrollment call with you. And your job on the call isn't to hard sell them. Well, I mean, some people take that approach, but not me. That is not your job. Your job is to help them make a decision whether they are committed to their own transformation or not. And if they are, then you get to inform them about how you can help them. And that is when you can enroll them into your program. And so these are the 5 simple steps. This is it. This is how you go from zero audience, 0 email list, 0 structure, 0 systems. You get your email list to 1,000 people, 5,000 people. This is how you put 1, 3, 5, 10, or 30 people, which might be mind blowing for you right now, but why? Right? It shouldn't be. Why wouldn't you want to help 30 new people a month? You can put them into your signature program, and it all starts with leveraged leads. It all starts with your ads. Your ads help to build your audience. Your audience is nurtured and educated and empowered through these very simple steps. And then you are moving them into an enrollment call. And then in the enrollment call, you are supporting them. This is your first opportunity to coach them to make a decision that whether or not they are committed to their own transformation. And then you invite them to transform, right? This is exciting. 5 steps. Type yes in the chat if this gives you a massive sense of relief, right? Where you're like, yes, I get it. It's a system, right? It's a system. And I know that I'm going really fast here. Obviously, this is a 30,000 foot view, but honestly, this is it. These are the steps. This is the steps in my business. These are the steps in my client's business. It's not more difficult than this. And yes, of course, there is work involved to set them up, but this is it. No more throwing spaghetti at the wall. No more doing random things. No more wasting time hoping that it'll work. It's this. It's the ongoing enrollment method. This is how you are going to fill your program every single month. And these are just a few of the practitioners and coaches that I work with. You know, I just sold my first program. I'm still on holidays, in the car, at a festival, camping in the rain, no bra, and got my first sale. That's not possible with the old way of doing things. Just sold my first program, kind of in shock. Funnel isn't even in my hands yet. Had my best program launched yet, $41,000. Revenue is up 20% over last year. Just got my 10th sale. Sold them both the pay in full option for my program. Makes a world of difference when you're talking to your ideal client. Of course it does. 3 amazing women just signed up as paying early bird prices. Followed the sales script. It really helped to stay on track, of course, because when you're following a proven plan, everything just feels so much simpler. So much simpler. And so now we've come to this last shift, shift number 4, the 10% expert rule. This is the most critical and the most important thing that you need to make in your own journey, both for your present success, but also for your future success. I work with very smart, well-educated, compassionate, passionate, purpose-driven practitioners and coaches. And one of the problems that I see is that even when they have everything set up, they have their niche, they have their ads, they have their funnel, they have their launch, they have their program, nothing. They're not able to get results. And the reason you're stuck isn't because the program sucks. It's not because people don't want to pay. It's not because any of those things. It's because they have fears and they're not playing full out. And they're not actually using any of the funnels that we set up for them. They're not actually using any of it. It's there, it's built. But they're like, oh, it's not working. And I'm like, because you're not doing anything. Because you're not doing anything. They have these fears in their mind, false evidence appearing real. It's stopping them from showing up. It's stopping you from really stepping into the practitioner and coach leadership position that you know you want. You want to transform lives for a living, but all of these fears are stopping you. And so let me know in the chat if any of these feel familiar. There could be 1,000,001 fears running through your mind right now. I need more education before I get started. How many times have you said, well, maybe I just should invest in another certification. Maybe I should just invest in another course. Type yes in the chat if you're like, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't feel confident, so I'm going to invest more money into things that I already know enough about. I know that was me. I have many pieces of paper that tell me that I am credentialed, right? How many pieces of paper do you have? I have seven different pieces of paper that tell me that I am more than qualified, and still I did not feel that way. I have 2 different personal training certifications. I have a university degree. I had my RHN. I had all of those, like, first line therapy. I had Pilates. I had all of these different certifications, and I still didn't feel confident. Or maybe you're like, I just need more experience. I have no experience. I don't know that I can have a group program without experience. I just need to gain some experience. I get it, but it's a little bit backwards thinking, because how are you going to get experience if you don't get started first? Or maybe you're thinking, and this is something that's, I know, a little bit touchy and a little bit sensitive, but very common. And we talk about this with a lot of my clients, but maybe you don't feel perfect. Like, put your hand up if you don't feel perfect. Maybe you're not at your ideal weight. Maybe you still have autoimmune flare-ups. Maybe you still get, acne. Maybe you still yell at your kids. You're a parenting coach and you yell at your kids. Maybe you still eat processed foods or drink Diet Coke. You're not perfect. Type yes in the chat if you feel that and you feel like, who's going to listen to me? I'm still going through it. I'm still in it. I'm not on the other side yet. I'm not perfect yet. I need to hit the goal weight. I need to go a year without flare-ups. I need to do whatever it is. You're setting these arbitrary goalposts for yourself. Type yes in the chat if that's you. Or maybe you're like, am I even going to be able to get clients? Is anybody going to even want to pay me? What if nobody buys? How embarrassing is that going to be? Maybe you're comparing yourself to practitioners and coaches that you see online with their, sleek and glossy Instagram and their sales pages, and they're talking about their 6-figure wins and all of this stuff. And you're like, gosh, so behind. I'm so behind. How can I ever compete? And so here's an analogy that I want to share with you. It's like those people that you're comparing yourself to, they're running their 6th marathon. They're in the middle of their 6th marathon and they're in their own lane. They're minding their business. They're looking pretty good because, of course, they've trained for years. They've run 6 marathons before you've ever even run a marathon. You've never even run before. You're still in the store talking to the 19-year-old dude trying to figure out what running shoes to buy. And you're looking at all of these people running their marathons and thinking, I could never be a runner like that. I can't catch up. Type yes if you understand that analogy. It's a little bit of a silly comparison to make, but I really want you to give yourself grace in this circumstance and stop comparing yourself. And the other thing that I want to point out that could be the reason that you feel perhaps like an imposter, like a fraud, type me in the chat if anybody feels that way, like an imposter, like a fraud. Perhaps the reason that you feel like a fraud is because you are no longer your ideal client, but you don't recognize that. You forgot how far you've come. You've already come so far. You've overcome something. You are no longer the person that you used to be. I know that that's true for me. And so I want you to think back to the person that you used to be. I want you to think about all the habits that are different now and all the mindsets that are different now and all the ways that you've already transformed your own life. And I want you to recognize how second nature it is to you now and how commonplace it is and how this is just who you are. This is your identity. You move your body, you eat the food, you drink the water, you go to sleep, you take the supplements. You're not perfect, of course, but it's your identity. It's who you are. And so it makes sense that it feels so simple to you and causes you to wonder, why would anyone want to pay me for these things that are so easy and so second nature? Do you ever think like that? Why would anybody want to pay me? Right? Why would anybody want to pay me to learn this stuff? Yeah, of course. Right? It's so easy. It's not. It's not easy for your ideal client to do these things, just like it wasn't easy for you back then either. It's not easy for them. They don't know this stuff. It's not simple. It's not easy. They don't know. Even with the abundance of free education, even with all of it, they're still sick. They're still suffering because nobody has taken the time to break it down for them. Nobody has taken the time to give them action steps. Everybody is a yellow duck, and they're just providing general generic education that is not for your purple duck. So please don't devalue the work that you've done to get to where you are. Just because it feels easy to you now doesn't mean that it's easy for the general population who, let's face it, the general population has a hard time drinking water. Okay? Like for real. They have a hard time staying hydrated. So if they have a hard time drinking water, which we would think is the easy, and especially in the developed world, with all the water that we have access to, people are chronically dehydrated. Chronically dehydrated. I can't drink water. It's so hard. I can't drink water. It's water. Just drink it. Right? But people struggle to drink water. People struggle to get 5,000 steps a day. Like 5,000 steps a day. That's like a total of 30 minutes of movement. 45 maybe. And so please don't devalue how far you've come. Don't belittle it by thinking that it is not a value to someone else. Of course they're going to want to know what cup you use to drink water from and what you ate for breakfast. And they're going to want to know how you transformed your relationship with your child, because they're not there yet, but you are. You've already done it. So please do not devalue how far you've come just because it feels easy to you now. And so the 10% expert rule gets you out of feeling like a fraud. It gets you out of feeling like an imposter. And it tells you that you only need to be 10 steps ahead of where your ideal client is right now. 10 steps. That's it. 10 steps. And so Tell me yes or no in the chat. Are you 10 steps ahead of where your purple duck is right now? Whether you have any client experience or not, go ahead and type yes or no in the chat. Are you ahead of your clients? Have you already gone through something? Of course you have. Of course you have. Have you gone through your own transformation? Maybe not yours. And if you haven't gone through anything, maybe it's somebody else's, but you've gone through transformation. Have you given advice to family or friends and then they took you up on it and then they came back to you and they were like, I was skeptical at first, but you know what you're talking about. And you're like, obviously, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a professional. Thanks. Thanks for having faith in me, cousin, right? Thanks, Aunt Betty. Thanks, neighbor Linda. Obviously, I know what I'm talking about. But have you given advice to family or friends? They've taken you up on it and, they were shocked, right? Do you give away free advice? Type yes or no in the chat. Do you have a diploma or a certification? Are you qualified? Forget the experience. Do you have a piece of paper hanging on a wall in a closet somewhere? Maybe you even misplaced it. That says, yes, you are qualified to work with clients. Do you have education behind you that you can pull from? If the answer is yes, then you are more than 10 steps ahead. If your ideal client, your purple duck, was sitting across the table from you right now, could you tell them 3 things to do that would help them? Yes or no in the chat. No research, no looking at notes, no nothing. It would just come right out of your mouth. If the person that you most wanted to help was sitting across the table, could you help them? Yes or no in the chat. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. And so now you have a choice. You can stay stuck and you can play small. You can give into those fears. You can be in the exact same spot you are in right now with that exact same gap and never make any progress. Or you can choose choice 2 and commit to your success, knowing that these 4 must make shifts are proven and that you can install them into the kind of business that you want to create that supports your ideal lifestyle all on your own terms. And so if that is you and you are choosing choice 2, and I hope that you are, I have a special opportunity for you, and I do not want to leave you high and dry. I just packed a ton of stuff into this course, and it might have felt like you were drinking from a fire hose. And so what I want to do right now is offer you an opportunity to book your free business guidance call. I want you to receive support. My team is going to drop the link in the chat. Go and click that link. If you're like, yes, Lori, choice number 2, click the button, click the link that we just dropped, and I want you to go ahead and book your free business guidance call. And I want you to come back to the chat and let me know so that I can celebrate you. My team and I have set aside a very limited number of spots because we know that you need it. We know that you need it. And it's not like there's really anywhere else for you to go to get your questions answered on your niche and your ideal client and what automations you should have and what tech platform you should have. It's not like you can walk into your small business center in your town and be like, hi, I'm a life coach. Can you please tell me how to get my online business started? There's nowhere for you to go to ask your questions, and I know that you have them. And so I'm making this available to you because I believe in your ability to be successful. And I know that without a shadow of a doubt, that having an online signature program is your ticket to freedom. And I don't want you to be stuck. I don't want that spin cycle of thoughts swirling around in your head. Should I, shouldn't I? Is this good? Is this not good? What about my niche? I don't have clarity. What about the tech? I don't know where to start. What about my program name? What should I price it? How long should the modules be? Should I do video or should I do PowerPoint? How do I do this? You're here because you want something. You want something more. You want to transform lives for a living. And so receive this help. And I'm actually going to turn my video back on because I feel like we are having a moment. I want you to receive help. And I know sometimes that's a really hard thing to do, but I want you to click the link. I want you to click the button that they just dropped into the chat. And I want you to take action. I want you to put your money where your mouth is. I want you to put your actions where your goals are. I want you to show yourself that you can execute despite feeling uncomfortable, that you can execute despite feeling scared. We're talking about a free business guidance call. And I want to reinforce your ability to take action even when you're scared, even when you feel uncomfortable. So, for the first 10 people that go and book your free business guidance call, you are going to get an added bonus on your call. Every single year, I run a 3-day event called the Wellness Business Summit. And I bring in the most incredible speakers to give 60 to 90-minute workshops on everything from, setting up your meta ads, to the legalities, to the finances of getting your business started, to branding, to social media, marketing, funnels, tech, and everything in between. So for the first 10 of you that go and book your business guidance call while we are still here together, you're going to get free access to the Wellness Business Summit workshops, the success workshops. I've never sold them before. It's all 3 days. It's all the slides. It's the virtual swag bag bonus that all of the digital ticket holders got. And I'm going to give it to the first 10 of you, because the more that I can reinforce you to take an action, even when you feel uncomfortable, the faster we can neutralize that discomfort in the body. And the less discomfort you have means the more energy you have to take the actions that you need to take. So go and book your call. Come back and tell me. I'm going to celebrate you, because this is a really big deal. This is a very big deal. Yes, Daisy, amazing. Amanda, amazing. That's awesome. Congratulations. So my team is going to put the link. You can click the button and you can go and book your business guidance call. It is a free call. Yes, booked. Amazing. I can see all of this. Amanda booked. Tiffany, amazing. Whoop, whoop. Amazing, amazing. Go and book that call. And I want to talk a little bit about why the call is free. Because maybe you're thinking, okay, like, what are you going to sell me? I don't have any money. I want to be fully transparent about why I do this and why the call is free. There's really 3 reasons why I do this. And again, if you're skeptical, good. Be skeptical, right? Be skeptical. Like, what are you going to sell me? Yep. And the first reason that I give this call for free in circumstances like this is because nobody did this for me. Nobody, specifically a female, said, hey, like, I see you. I see you wanting this so bad. I see you working to try and change your life. I see you struggling. I see you trying, and then sort of holding yourself back. Nobody extended an olive branch. Nobody offered me a leg up. Nobody helped me. Nobody said, I've been where you are, and now I have this, so let me help you. And I distinctly remember at the beginning of developing Wow Weight Loss and sitting on the floor of my local bookstore with all of these books sort of spread all around me, second guessing myself every minute of every day, which is emotionally draining. I made a commitment to myself that when, not if, but when I am successful and I have the financial resources to pay it forward, to be able to provide guidance and mentorship to those coming after me, it's exactly what I'm going to do. Because I know what it feels like to second guess yourself all the way through something and to put it out not knowing if it's going to work, to not have anybody understand what it is that you're doing or why that you're doing it or why you're staying up late or going to bed early or taking time away from whatever, working when you can, grabbing moments here, grabbing moments there. I get it. I lived it. And so for me, it is so important that I pay it forward to you. Your suffering is optional. Your suffering is optional. And this is a way for you to opt out. And so sincerely, everything that we do here at the Wellness Business Hub is to support you. My business is at a place where I can afford it, where I can pay it forward, where we can actually offer mentorship and guidance for free and it not be a time suck on my end, where we can do it with joy and excitement and integrity to be able to mentor you so that you don't have to suffer. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to waste time. And so that's reason number one, is because nobody extended a hand to me, right? Nobody extended a hand to me. So even if it's hard for you to receive support, if you're somebody who is proud, you're like, I can do it on my own, I promise you can't. I promise you, I've worked with thousands of practitioners and coaches. I promise you that you will spend 3 years trying. And so that's reason number one, is you don't have to spend 3 years trying. Like, we can just tell you. And reason number two is this is my equitable way of leveling the playing field. I know that there are some of you who don't have the financial resources to invest in anything. You don't have it to invest in liability insurance. You don't have it to invest in tech platforms. You don't have it to invest in coaching. And that's fine. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be given equal access to mentorship and guidance. And so I am here to support you no matter what. And so whether you have finances, don't have finances, take up space. Take up space. Doesn't matter if you have a niche, no niche, you have a vague idea, you have a very succinct idea. If you want to transform lives, if you want to create a business for yourself by transforming lives, you have to take up space. You have to be willing to vote for yourself. You have to be willing to receive help when help is given, because there is no way that you're going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve all on your own. There's no chance. And so the third reason why I offer this call for free is because I do know that there are some of you who want to know what we do, who want to know how we help people, who want to know how we do the tech for you and help you to run ads and all of that, work on your messaging with you and all of that fun stuff. You're like, give me the easy button, please. Like, how do I accelerate this? I've already wasted so much time. So if that's you, and I know that's not everybody, and that's okay, but if that's you, you can definitely ask on the call. And if you qualify, we will give you all of the different ways that we work with practitioners and coaches, because we have different ways depending on maybe you already have some assets. Maybe you already have, a website, or you already have a program, or you already have whatever set up. So we have different ways that we work with practitioners and coaches, depending on what you are coming in with. So that's why the call is free. No need to be skeptical, no smoke and mirrors, full transparency all the way. And the thing that I will say is, whether we work together in any professional capacities, please go book a call. If you are still here listening to me and you haven't yet, acknowledge that there is some mindset that's holding you back, and you can take the action regardless of how you feel. You don't have to feel ready in order to take the action. And so let's talk about what we're going to do on the call with you. So the mentorship guidance call is really to first run an assessment. And as I was saying sort of at the beginning, it's very important to have clarity of what you're doing. And so in order for us to give you the best possible guidance, in order for us to give you the best possible mentorship, we have to know a couple of things. We have to know your starting point, and we have to know your 12-month goal in order to then give you that plan. And you should have a plan. You should not make any decisions without the high level plan at the very least, in the sense of, okay, I'm starting with zero email list, zero social media. I want to make $60,000 in the next 12 months. Cool. Then we're going to ask you some questions so that we can help you build the plan. How many hours a week do you have to work on your business? 10? Okay, cool. What do you think you'll be able to budget for meta ads? $10 a day? Great. So here's what this is going to look like for you. And we could literally map it for you, right? Given price points of your program, we will literally map it for you so that you have a tremendous amount of clarity as to what is going to be involved in you setting up your freedom-based business. Because we're talking about your business, right? We're talking about your career. We're not talking about you, with no due respect, like selling socks, or a widget. We're not talking about selling widgets. We're talking about you as a professional. You need a business plan. And I've spoken to too many practitioners and coaches who have been burned because nobody laid out the plan of what they needed to do for the person to see that it either was or wasn't a good fit. And I'm not interested in pressure. We're not interested in it. We will work with you and create the business plan for you. Whether you ever become a client of mine or not, we will absolutely treat you the same, because you still have the ability to have a business. And I firmly believe that until we all come together in this new way of operating, in this new way of being online, in leveraging technology, in this new way of being able to hold clients accountable, provide coaching, it's up to us to make these changes in the health and mental health situation that we are in. The allopathic medical community, it's not going to do it. It's really up to us. And so we know that that's a part of our mission. And so we will support you, in whatever capacity that we can. So my team is going to drop the link, click the button, and go and book your call. And I just want to finish with a couple more pieces of evidence that this is possible for you. This is Carrie, and Carrie moved from Winnipeg with her husband and her 2 sons to Costa Rica because she wanted a different kind of life. And I mean, who doesn't? And if you know anything about Canada, Winnipeg's very cold. And so she was also a physical therapist. And so She says, I have over 400 female runners in my training programs working towards building super fit, strong, and healthy bodies. She says, I just took 2 full weeks with my kids over spring break and didn't skip a beat in my business. She's a physiotherapist. That's not possible in the old way. That's not possible. 400 women, took 2 weeks off, didn't skip a beat. If she can do it, why can't you? There's no difference. There's no difference. And then we have Kush. She works with women who have endometriosis. She says just past 16K for the month, hired 3 team members. She works, like I said, with women who have endometriosis, and she's running a real business. This was a little bit old. I think at this point now, she's doing about $40,000 a month, $50,000 a month. She's helping hundreds and hundreds of women with endometriosis. She's a leader in the field. She didn't start out that way, but she became that because she knew that it was her life's work. And then there's Lee. Whoops. And then there's Lee. She says, I just made what I normally earn in a month in 1 day. I'll say that again. I just made what I normally earn in a month in 1 day. Why can't you do that too? Right? Of course you can. You just don't have the systems installed. You don't have the systems installed and the experience to use them. But I learned them. My clients have learned them, so you can learn them too. Go and click the link, book your business guidance call, and get the plan. And here's the last thing that I'll just add, and this is really true. Be the client you want to attract. You want to attract people who are going to be willing to invest and work with you. You want to attract people who are okay taking fast action, and yet you're hesitating. It doesn't work like that. You can't hesitate. You can't not receive help. You can't not invest and then expect people to act differently. That's why you feel like a fraud. So make sure that you behave the way that you want your clients to behave. So you can say, I know that it's scary. I know that it's scary to make this move. I know that it's scary to make these changes. I've been there, believe me. So you can come with full integrity, be the client you want to attract, right? Be the client you want to attract. So they're going to drop the social media bonus bundle link now. It's a straight download. You're going to get it. You can probably save it to your desktop. Sorry that I went over time. We were a little bit behind. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for staying. I hope this was helpful for you. Have a fabulous rest of your day. We will see you all tomorrow. I am so pumped. I'm going to stop sharing. We did it. Day 1 in the books. That was so fun. That was amazing. Go and book your call. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. Just book the call. It's a free guidance call. It's free. No risk to you. It's only going to add value to you. So have a fabulous rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow.